Hear me out.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Hear Me Out. My name's Tanner Dawson of the Sports Buffoons and Let's Talk Sports Network. I'm joined with the Rec Room guys of Wit and Jay. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Happy Tuesday.
Hey.
Man, we're in the middle of a bunch of sports happening. It's about to all start, really go down. College football is starting up here. This week 0 is this week. Week 1 starts next week, next Thursday. We got NFL week 1 starting here in a couple weeks. Final preseason games this weekend. It's all about to go down. It's all about to go down, and then it just builds up from there. It's going to be such a great time, guys. I am excited because there's going to be tons of news, tons of stuff coming out all about this stuff. So it's going to be a good time. All right, guys, you know the deal. Here's the deal, right? In case you don't know, in case for some reason you haven't seen this yet, this is the deal. These two guys next to me, or I guess, each side of me, they're going to be able to answer some questions that I'm going to ask, and I get to judge. I'm going to give them points. I'm going to deduct points. You're going to hear a couple sounds from me. That is a point. If you hear this sound first, it's on loop. That's to the next round. Let's see here. So I got to turn these up. That's a point. That beat. That's a negative point. I mean, something either didn't make sense, a stat was wrong, you said the wrong player for the wrong team, or you did something else was just way off. And finally, with the bonus round, when we get to the bonus round, you'll hear this song or this sound. That's the bonus round. That's a 5-point. And that'll be at the very end of this here. Guys, we got 3 main topics today to get through. And it goes all over the place. So can't wait for it. Can't wait for our bonus round as well. So you guys ready?
Hey.
Wait, you got the victory last week, right? You finally broke that streak, right?
Ooh, man, listen, I felt like it was a never-ending struggle versus Jay for about 3 weeks. It's crazy, but I came through with the victory. You know, I'm looking forward to many more. But Jay's a tough opponent. You know, it's like Ali Frazier or something. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta keep going back at it, I guess.
Well, I will say this week might favor Jay a little bit, but you got your work cut out for you, man. So we're gonna see how this thing goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this ball rolling.
Yes, sir.
First topic of the day, of course. Why not? Let's talk about some Jonathan Taylor news, because why not with the Colts around here? Jonathan Taylor got granted permission to go seek a trade outside of Indianapolis. There's tons of destinations you guys can go about, right? We got a Kamara suspension, 3 games down in New Orleans. Dallas already came out and said, I'm good, I'll pass. The Chiefs, even out there, they have Pacheco, who's coming off hand surgery as well. McKinnon, can he stay healthy the entire year? Who knows what's after that? Minnesota at Madison's already banged up as well. There's a whole bunch of different destinations that we can go with Jonathan Taylor. But from you guys here, I want to know where the best destination is for Jonathan Taylor, if there is one. So, Whit, since you won last week, we'll start with you.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. Where should Jonathan Taylor be traded to out of Indianapolis? Now, you got to think about it. You got to put your GM hat on. Okay, first off, what do you want for Jonathan Taylor? And you probably want not just maybe 1 or 2 bodies, but you definitely want draft capital. Now, when we talk about draft capital, we're thinking about first rounders, possibly second rounders, multiple first rounders, possibly
let
multiple
me
second
interject
rounders.
there. Let me interject there. The Colts did ask for either a first rounder or the equivalent of a first rounder. So just to clarify that up.
Exactly. A first rounder or the equivalent, right? You got to think first of all in the running, and this is where my argument is going to start at. Is right now in the running back market, what is the issue? Did he already reach his peak according to what GMs are thinking? Possibly, maybe. So is he worth a first rounder? Who knows? It depends to the other team. Now, maybe a couple seconds, but maybe not that first at the same time. Because if you don't want to pay him first round money, why am I going to give you a first rounder? So let's start off from there, right? In the AFC, right? Who you got? You got the AFC South. You don't want to trade him to the Texans. You don't want to trade him to the Titans. Definitely don't want to trade him to Jacksonville because they're on the way up. Then you go to the AFC North. Everybody's got a running back pretty much. Shoot, Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson. The Bengals, we know what their deal is right now with their two-headed monster somewhat. Cleveland, they pretty much got theirs locked up. And you know, in Pittsburgh, we're fine with Najee Harris. Now, what about the NFC teams? You got to think about a couple of things like who does have draft capital possibly to go for that. I'm thinking about the Lions, and it's maybe. You know, Jared Goff is kind of on the uprise right now with what happened with last season. Nobody saw them coming. But then I'm thinking about Jamar Gibbs. Is he worth a first-round pick? Is he a body that you would put in there? Maybe the draft pick, maybe Jamar Gibbs, just to have somebody run the ball in the back end. Then, what about the Carolina Panthers? I mean, Chuba Hubbard, he's okay. He's okay, but he's not Jonathan Taylor. Raheem Blackshear, he's not Jonathan Taylor. But also, in the same aspect of thinking, the draft capital is there for them to do it. And then what do young quarterbacks like? Running backs. Bryce Young just coming off his Heisman candidacy win the year before. So what does he want to do? He wants to make sure that he is not put in positions where he's going to lose the game for the Carolina Panthers. But for me, if it could happen, I like him going to the Chicago Bears. What? The Chicago Bears? The Bears. Yes, that's right. Why? Well, let's think about it. Matt Eberflus comes in, defensive-minded head coach. What do defensive-minded head coaches like to do? They like to control the football. They want to keep the football in their offense's hands so that their defense can rest and make sure that they're ready to put on the best show. What's going to happen out there somewhere? We're going to have Justin Fields behind a rebuilt offensive line, folks. And with a rebuilt offensive line, that means there's going to be ways to implement Jonathan Taylor in not only running game, but in the passing game as well. Field position is going to play a huge part of what Justin Fields is going to do because you got to remember he can also run, which makes him a dual threat. He can also pass, which we know we've seen that last season. And then let's think about the weapons he already has. We got Robert Tonyan, Mercedes Lewis. Oh my God, y'all forgot he got tight ends? Then we got DJ Moore and Chase Claypool. And let's say we just want to shift around Jonathan Taylor a little bit to say, okay, let's take him out of the backfield and put him into the slot. There's opportunities for him to be used in that offense right now by a mobile Justin Fields because that play action pass and QB option will be dangerous with the two of them in the backfield. But the one thing is the draft capital won't be there because, of course, they gave up draft picks to get up to get Justin Fields. So what do? You give up future picks or second rounders, and you give them so many bodies that they can throw a fist at it and not care. And you go, hey, look, you take it or leave it because nobody else is going to give you this deal. Nobody else is going to give you the amount of these players. That second round, third round is oftentimes where they end up having the best.
You saying the Bears?
picks. So right there, that's my opinion. I'm saying, Jay, you cutting me off? Are you doing that? You got a time over there? Anyway, so let's just go ahead and say I got the Bears on this one. We're going to go with Justin Fields, and I think that it would work, but not for first rounders, maybe second rounders.
By the way, did you, or was it? It was before Carolina. It was the Carolina. Who was the first team before Carolina?
Who was the team that I said before Carolina?
Yeah, I just lost my train.
I kind of was just the Lions.
The Lions. Did you say? What about Jamar Gibbs in the first round? What was all that?
No, I was saying the Lions, of course, have first round picks. Jahmyr Gibbs, you know, they have running backs that you can get up out of. They got running backs that they had to get up out of there. Who's gonna actually be running the ball for the Lions at this point? At this point in time, we don't know. So who's gonna be doing it? You can give them you can go ahead and give them whoever you got on the back end and go ahead and give
David
them
Montgomery over there too, man. Gibbs and Montgomery.
That's the point. You got David Montgomery, but is David Montgomery on the same level as Taylor? Are they the same? Are we? Am I
No,
wrong? Am I
Jamari
wrong?
Gibbs though with a combination. Anyway, I'm not getting into it. I can't get into it.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
it's
get
two
what you're
running backs.
saying.
I like Gibbs over Montgomery.
Yeah, big time. All right, Jay, you're up, buddy.
Okay. All right. So when you talk about Jameer Gibbs and the fact that I don't think you remember how the Detroit Lions, how the war room looked when they jumped up to get him. I would not guess that you would do all of that, be that excited for somebody you're willing to trade for somebody. Not say, one Jonathan Taylor, but he's not sort of seasoned compared to Jameer Gibbs. And they also have Montgomery in the backfield. I mean, as a backup. Like that's not one of the teams I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about teams more on the bottom half. And let's start from like the Oakland Raiders on down, right? The reason why I would say that, oh, excuse me,
Las
sorry,
Vegas.
I'm back in time. Okay, so as far as Vegas, the only reason why I say Vegas and starting from Vegas is because of the fact that they still have some contract, disputes going on with Jacobs, right? This would be a perfect out. Why would it be a perfect out? Perfect out would be go ahead and trade him and possibly a first round. But who really has that much collateral? Who has that much to really trade? When you're looking at teams like maybe even somebody in the NFC South, maybe, but not Jacksonville. Let's say maybe Tigers. Not same for Henry. When you got to give up a first round, you got to give up more than the first round. Who can it be? You can't say the Cardinals, could you? Because is he willing to go to a team that not only is he ready to win now, but a team like the Cardinals, who's probably going to be getting some good draft picks for sure. Uh, my team that I'm going with, and the team that might need a joke. And I'm looking at teams, like I said, when I say the bottom half rushing wise. Rushing wise, we talk about the Jets, they pretty much got it covered right now. A lot of teams they rush. The Bengals was pretty almost in the bottom half in rushing, but we're talking about the Bengals. When I say the Bengals, someone else, Joe Mixon, who might be willing to part, especially with a little bit of the craziness that Joe Mixon had going on recently. Like somebody else that you could possibly part from just to get somebody younger, not necessarily, a vet, but somebody a little younger. But my team for sure my only team that makes sense and somebody that would need him, and maybe they have some picks. They said F them picks before. Maybe they have a pick.
I know where you're going.
Let's go with the Rams. Let's go with the Rams here. I'm just saying the Rams still have Cup. They still have a team that, as long as you have Stafford out there, you have to try to win. You got to try to win, unless pretty much you just wasting Stafford, wasting his arm away, which is kind of not really the tip top shape to start with. But every team pretty much is covered. You look at it back in the days. Hate to say it, but back in the days when how many teams can you say had two good running backs? Now it's a standard, so even in today's NFL, it has to be a team that's willing to possibly that already has a good running back to start, possibly. And let's look at Miami. Let's look at Minnesota. Uh they're making sense. Some of these teams are making sense. So as far as the best destination, I don't know. I just don't know. Seriously speaking, the Rams, because of what they're spent. I'm pretty sure they're spent, right?
Yeah.
So let's go with the Dolphins and the Vikings, who are sort of like in the win now, Let's get a back in here because they don't necessarily have a certified top flight number one back. You still got Kareem Hunt out there. Where's he going? You know, so it's gonna take a good bit, but I'm gonna go with. I'm sorry, either the Dolphins or possibly the Vikings.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's
Uh
say he
huh.
does get traded to one of the teams, right? Maybe Carolina, the Vikings, the Dolphins, somewhere else. Does he actually get paid from that team he goes to?
That's the thing, and it's hurting. They're talking about him possibly setting the standard again as far as their pay scale, but I don't see it. I mean, it will happen, but how long? How long would it be for? I
Right.
think he'll possibly be, when you look at the McCaffrey, it's a McCaffrey, I guess, as far as the pay scale, you look at a McCaffrey standard, that's where it's set up. Somebody mentioned also, and I should have stated that, somebody mentioned letting running backs get in the NFL at a younger age in order for them to fulfill a longer contract. And if especially if they're actually doing well. I don't know how that will work, but you know, who who's gonna pay him for a long extended the period of time? Who's gonna pay him for at least what? He's probably gonna want what, 5 years?
I mean, the only team that would do it is it's Cleveland, but they got Nick Chubb, right? Because Cleveland just fork out money anyways and give you
And they
guaranteed.
just
So
and they just had the Kareem Hunt experiment. So
correct, and they let him walk. So why, it's. I think that's the other thing, right? It's brought up yesterday on the show, Let's Talk Sports show, but it was a will he actually get paid, right? And then everybody was like, oh well, Taylor denied it. Well, it's not Taylor's call of where he goes. It's actually the Colts. Colts are
It's the
just granting
Colts.
him permission to take a look elsewhere, right? So I mean, you still got Eckler, who's out there, who's been way more effective than Taylor on the Chargers, not getting paid. Saquon just had to accept his deal and take care of that, not getting paid. Like there's a lot of guys that to me might provide a little bit more value to their team than Jonathan Taylor, who is legit just a hard nosed running back.
To me,
You're not,
and Jay made a lot of great points. One of the things that I would like to consider in the fact of the matter is he has to go somewhere where the name brand is synonymous with nobody. Okay, so it
correct.
makes me think of a bottom low level team. It makes me think of Carolina. Of course, yeah, they just got the first round pick, but with that
You
first
also
round
got
pick,
Miles Sanders.
right? Hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? With the pair, you want to pair him with somebody that, okay, you want that money. This person who is the quarterback is not established yet. You see what I'm saying? And that way they can cut him a check worth it. Now, some of the things that I've been seeing on numerous conversations online, on numerous blog sites and things of that nature, is that the running backs are convoluting together. They're having Zoom meetings, even second string guys. Some of the premier second string running backs who have been in the league and have experienced this, the highs and lows. They're coming together and they're trying to prepare themselves for semi NBA like deals where they're
Yeah.
doing one and out. Let me get 7 million. Let me get 8 million. Let me get six guaranteed. You see what I'm saying? Let me do 3 years. Let me get 10 million. Let me get six guaranteed. Something where the guarantee level is high, but the amount of years is short. But because they're not
Mhm.
also going to be affecting cap space on the long. Of course, now don't get me wrong. Some players are worth 4 or 5 year deals. Saquon Barkley, nice 5 year deal. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, last name Chubb, worth a long term deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you got guys like you would consider Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is a great running back, a serviceable running back, but he's so much of a tweener, in my opinion, that he's gonna go out and catch the ball. He's also going to get in between the tackles and run the ball. So he's worth that money, but is the team going to pay him because he's been in the league so long? You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
Chargers don't pay anybody. So
And hey, look, the Colts don't pay any. The Colts had Andrew
outside of
James.
Justin Herbert.
The Colts didn't want to pay Andrew James. They didn't want to pay Joseph Adai. Who like
What-
No, you know
it
what?
happens.
Yeah.
They did pay him, and the crazy thing about it, I was looking back at Edgerrin James' the contract that he signed. I think it was for 7 years for like 48 million or something like that. Can
Yeah,
you
sounds
imagine
right.
you imagine
Today's deal.
Today's deal, 7 years for 48 for the rest of my life. Like
Retire right after that.
right? Yeah, exactly. So
Get that.
in my estimation, I think that it's really going to be headed towards the top tier running backs are going to be doing 2-year deals where they're going to get 65 to, if the really good ones are going to try to go for at least 65 to between 45 and 65% of their contracts guaranteed. They're going to try, but it's going to be shorter time spans, 2 years, 3 years, not no more of this really long, lengthy stuff where in between they can risk getting injured and not recouping that money that they're really worth.
Let me ask you guys one more question here before we move on. When and if he does get traded, when does it happen? Does it happen in the next 2 weeks? Does it happen in the first 4 weeks of the season, or does it happen right before the trade deadline?
I feel like your crazy uncle who owns the Colts is going to hold them hostage for as long as he can. You want to sit around my practices and my other players and my facility and pout and put your hoodie on and wear your Beats headphones and not answer questions. You might as well go ahead and do that all summer long, because I'm not sending you nowhere until and to me, I know that the pay. Okay, let's say Jim Irsay don't want to pay him first round pick money, extended contract money, right? Who's going to give him it's diminishing the value by doing that. So the next team's going to go, well, you don't want to pay him that type of money. Why am I going to give you that type of player? Go ahead and take 2 first rounds next year, the second round in 2025, and 2 third rounders in. It's going to be it's not going to be a trash heap, but it's going to be a what is it, like a swindler's deal is what they would call it, where it looks good. It's a possibility something's going to come out of it, but hey, I think that first round is probably going to be a no-go.
I would say they got to do it fast. They got to do it as fast as they can, because I mean, who is it helping with him moping around? It's like Whit said, like who is it helping? You're gonna get who's it? But yeah, if you're gonna have teams gonna have more questions. The longer it goes on, it's gonna be more questions from the other team. Like, damn, like what's really going on? Like, what really going on with him? What's going on with y'all? Maybe the Commanders could get him. Maybe Irsay is maybe Irsay is cool with the Commanders. He's gonna trade him to the Commanders to that Snyder.
Come on. Hey man, Magic Johnson gonna come in there and smile and be like, "Hey baby man, give him the magic."
And he gonna say, "Yeah, Dan's not there no more, so here you can pay him because I'm not," and make it clear. That'll be pretty petty.
Oh man, hey, that was a good subject though. I mean, it's just I always like to start on this first one. It's very, we got a lot more to talk about it. So, well, that's a good one, guys. Let's update the score. It is a tied ball game right after the first round already. It is already a tight one here. Let's get the scene going. Next up, college football starts this week. Week 0 begins next week. Everything else really starts to put in effect. Some great matchups out there. Now we're all starting to look at the rankings. We're all starting to look at standings, right? Whole bunch of stuff happening in the next few years for these changes here. But what we got to know is in the top 25, you know what? I'll even be generous here and I'll pop this up for everybody to see. The top 25. Wow. I almost popped up NCAA basketball top 25 and we would have been all confused when we saw KU in the top 25.
All right.
Oof. Nah.
I mean, not that I think. Right.
I would have saw Miami in the top 25. I would have been like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Jay would have shout out the roof.
What year is this? What year is this?
What are we doing? So college football starts this week, like I said, rankings here. Let's take a look through the top 25 here. as we kind of go about it, just to see out there, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, and LSU ran up the top 5. USC, Penn State, Florida State, Clemson, and Washington round out the next 5 to the 10 mark. 11 through 15 as Texas, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Utah, and Oregon. And then round up your top 20 there is Kansas State, TCU, Oregon State, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. And your final bottom guys of the top 25, North Carolina, Ole Miss, A&M, Texas A&M, and Tulane and Iowa. So I got to know from you guys, from this wonderful list here, who doesn't belong? And there can be multiple answers on this question.
Great.
I like it. I like it.
Sorry, I guess I have to pick who goes first. Jay, you got the floor, dude.
Okay. Let's start with first fun fact, I guess. Look, TCU wasn't even ranked, and look where they ended up, right? Last season. So for them to be ranked this season, let's I don't want to pick on the Big Ten. I don't want to pick on the Big Ten. But all right, check this out. The Big Ten, man, is always shaky with me. I'm not gonna go into the Ohio State bias. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. So it's always an Ohio State thing, right? But let's go with the Big Ten. Look at the top 10, right? And look at the fact that in the top 10, we have how many teams that are not yet in the top 10? But if you would put those Pac-12 teams, these teams that's going in the new Big Ten next season or in the future, the Big Ten would be one of the best conferences in the country, right? Maybe not the best. Can you ask that question?
Is Washington the Big 10 yet? Is that next year, or are they still out of it?
Washington's going out next
year. Yeah, but I was talking more into
the 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4 teams technically in the Big Ten now. Well, not now, but USC will be right officially in.
USC.
So you have Penn State at 7. You got USC at 6. You got Ohio State at 3, and Michigan at 2.
Hey.
All right. Let's go with I'm just gonna leave let's go with the number 25 team. Right?
Iowa.
And with Iowa, a lot of people would say that Iowa shouldn't even be ranked with everything they've lost. You would say that it's probably, even with what they lost on defense, that their defense kind of got them in, at least in the top 25. I don't see, anybody else. Wisconsin, I would say, it's crazy you say who doesn't belong on the list, but Wisconsin at 19 should be ranked higher.
Hey.
Right? Wisconsin should be ranked higher. I just pooped on the Big Ten and everything. But
little fecal matter.
But they don't give them a chance. And I'm sorry, that's all I got as far as who doesn't belong on the list, because it's so much is going to change. I hate these schedules in the Big Ten. I hate them. The schedules suck. You know what I mean? They don't play anybody. I want them to just blow it up. I'm tired of these conference schedules in the Big Ten. It doesn't help, man. I hate the Big Ten. I hate it because you got Rutgers. You got all these you got Indiana. They put up a little fight for a quarter, and then it's over. You know what I'm saying? It is. I can't take it, man. Let's blow it up. Let's blow it up. And just have all the best teams from all the best conferences just play each other. Just change this. I'm tired of the Big Ten, man. I'm tired. Okay, but we're gonna go with Iowa. I don't think they should be ranked. TCU, they should. I think who knows what they'll be like I said, as far as how they go, they weren't even ranked last season. So it's like who's to say other than Iowa? Iowa for sure. I don't think they have enough to even be ranked. Like I said, they really think that their defense is going to be a staple, and they lost a good bit, and Wisconsin should be higher. I'm not really going to say anybody doesn't really necessarily belong. Where's Texas A&M?
Yeah,
I
they're
hate Jimbo.
All
23.
at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, them two. Sorry. Jimbo, I forgot they were ranked. I really forgot they were ranked. Anybody Jimbo Fisher, man, just needs to just give it up, dude. There's no way you're gonna be able to draw it up. I'm sorry, Whit. I'm done after this. You can get your point. But Jimbo Fisher, man, there's no way, no matter how he draws it up, the plays they seem too old, man. He's gonna get somebody killed out there, man. He keeps calling those old school plays, and they ain't working. No matter who you bring in to help, no matter who you bring in to be a facilitator or organizational coach or whatever you want to do. Anyway, Texas A&M for sure, man. You need to just don't let them. No, please. They Texas A&M should not be ranked. You got to earn it. How many times? Let's go back to 2000. How many times have we thrown Texas A&M out there and said, "Oh yeah, this is it. They're gonna do it." And they've had their little wins here and there, but Texas A&M, man, is and I hate to bring Sumlin out, man, but
Oh, let Kevin Sumlin lie, man.
that was just the most overrated, man. It was worse than the Whittingham. And I'm sorry. I'm not even answering the question, man. I'm
You're
not
not
really.
going off a tangent. You
Yeah,
started something.
with I'm
Hey.
done, man. I'm sorry.
Hey
I
man,
All
hate the
right.
Big
no,
Ten.
I
I
love
hate
it.
the
I
Big
love
Ten.
it when we go on these rants, man. We got to get the
I
answers
hate the
out.
Big Ten.
So, in conclusion,
I
I
hate the Big
like where Jay's going with this one because we're gonna go a little off the rails on my answer too. Because in reality, I'm in the sense of thinking not who doesn't belong, but who doesn't belong where they are, maybe, right? Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's just look at the list, right? One more time. So Tulane at 24. Okay, let's give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Now Tulane finishes the year strong. They got an incoming class. They had an incoming class that is going to be saying succumbed with several transfers. Like two of the quarterbacks that I know that they're going to be getting. Where one of was from Oklahoma. He was on the bench. He could have started, but he doesn't like Oklahoma. He's going to Tulane. Awesome, looks great. But to me, just like you just mentioned, Jay, you go Jimbo Fisher. Every year we get to see Jimbo Fisher have somewhat of a meltdown before the season starts. And I personally look forward to it every year. The recruiting class is high. Jimbo Fisher goes low. So and it seems some way he can't have. Well, let me tell you what the other guy did. He goes every year. Jimbo Fisher goes. Let me tell you what the other guys over there doing. You think I'm selling snake oil? No, he's over there paying players to go to school. Duh. Now everybody's in on it with the NIL. So big shouts out to Jimbo Fisher. Somewhere in there, I like to think that Oregon at 15 is too low. Because Oregon always somehow seems to put out an offense that is not just diverse in schematic wise, but also killer with the players that they put on the field. So somewhere in there, Oregon at 15, I might have moved them up a little bit. Now Clemson at 9, I'm excited to see as someone from South Carolina. I'm excited to see Clemson. Dabo Sweetie says, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere. Got a brand new bag. We revamped the Clemson allure, so to speak. Someone like Jay should know. Jay knows. I know. If you're from the area, when you start talking about Clemson football, everybody's ears perk up because, hey man, that quarterback, the one that nobody could pronounce his last name, he's out of there. He was a cancer. Now we got another guy, the second quarterback. He was the one that should start. And when you get into those conversations around where we're from, that means something. So I'm looking forward to see what Dabo Sweetie puts out there on the field because he literally turned that program around, and those national championships weren't put together by accident. That was hard work. Then of course, like you go look at the top five. You know, the top five. I'm not gonna mess with that. LSU, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, number one. We know that. That's a lock. But for me, the one that I want to talk about the most, because it's near and dear to my heart, down in the great old state of Texas, we got Texas Longhorns at 12. Now, don't hear me out. Give me a second. Just like the show
11.
says, hear me out. Oh, they got them at 11. Okay, so we got them at 11. So let's just say this, right? Outside of the top 10, when you got Texas at 11, Texas finishes at 25 because they lost in the Alamo Bowl to who? Kansas State? What?
Washington.
No. I'm saying I'm naming teams. No, I know it was Washington.
Oh,
But
sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry. But yes, but in the end, what you're looking at in the Big 12 conference, the only person that finished higher than them was Kansas State with 7-2. They ended up with the 63 record within the conference. Right now, I'm thinking about what it took for them to almost beat Alabama. Almost 20-19. That game was so close. Field goal, 2 more inches, game would have been over. Alabama's season would have
I don't know
turned out a
about 2 more
whole
inches.
another direction. Then I'm thinking about what the Red River rivalry, one of the most important rivalries in college football. Oklahoma got washed. Okay, completely washed right there. So I'm talking about 49-0. That's ridiculous. And then somewhere in my mind, when I think about college quarterbacks right now, I think about the underdog. And right now, for me, Quinn Ewers is the underdog as a quarterback out there in Texas. The Mullet King lives in Texas, if you don't know. Okay. And then somewhere in there, you got to think about what happened with their coaching staff when you got Sark coming in for another full season. And everybody knows when you're the new head coach, it takes a minute to implement a brand new style and a brand new mantra around the program. It's going to take a minute. But Steve Sarkisian, straight out of the coaching tree, everybody knows is spread wide around college football from Alabama. I'm thinking that this is the season that they turn up the heat and we're going to see a resurgence of Texas Longhorn football in the big, not just the Big 12, but on the national stage as well. And then, of course, they're set for the long haul because somewhere in there, we got to worry about Arch Manning in the next few years. Okay. They got 2 5-star recruits, 16 4-star recruits this past season. And when you think about that, I know everybody goes, oh, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Those 4-star kids work hard for the money. Okay. And a lot of those guys are going to be what we're looking forward to, especially on the defensive end, because everybody, well, from what I was reading, Sarkisian kind of did his recruiting opposite of what he's looking for. He went for defensive players because Texas, everybody knows Texas football is normally known for defense in the first place. So I'm looking forward to them having the resurgence. So Texas right now at 12, when they ended at 25, could they have been higher? Maybe, well, excuse me, 11. Could they have been higher? No, I would have put them back maybe a little bit, maybe moved them down to 15. But I like where they are, and I'm thinking when we get into the season, when we get into the crux of the season, we're going to see somehow, some way, Texas move closer and closer into that top 4 and 5 range, especially with the only thing that really lost offensively was Bijan Robinson, straight up. Everybody else is coming back on
Rashawn
defense.
Johnson too.
Rashad Johnson, but
And
everybody else pretty much
Devers or
whole-
Amaria and Devershawn, whatever it was, the linebacker, he left too.
I'm thinking offense. I was thinking offense, but yeah,
Well, then you know all
yeah,
three.
offensively, they're going. Hey, Sarkisian, we're coming back. We want to put on for you, but and of course, like the town. Seriously, the town is in love with Quinn Ewers right now. It's all over Texas, all over the Texas, marketing that I saw looking through a few things. So it's cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing Texas. Not where they belong, but where they can be as the season progresses.
Well, we do got one top 10 matchup for week 1 next week, and that is Florida State LSU. So we could already be seeing the change of guards starting week 1 there. So that's going to be a great matchup. By the way, everybody has Michigan at 2. I think Michigan is out of the top 5 in my list. LSU is definitely in the top 5 this year for it here. And Michigan, with all the suspension with Harbaugh the first 3 games, I think that's going to cause some issues into play too for coaching and decision making, and also they're a new quarterback too. We don't know what they're like. And Michigan, remember, got beat by TCU there, so it's I don't trust Michigan. I think Michigan's too high. Give me Florida State too high. Give me Utah too low. I think they got to be up there near that 10 region. I think they will after Florida. They beat
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, definitely Utah.
And then Oregon State, Pac-12, get them out of the top 25. Iowa, get them out of the top 25. Tulane can stay, and Oklahoma get out of the top 25. And I'm
A
good.
sleeper in there is that Wisconsin. In my opinion. They lost a lot
Yeah.
of they lost a lot on their offensive line and a couple of defensive players in the later rounds, but everything that I was trying to kind of pick on a little bit of everybody. Everything that I saw about Wisconsin says that they've been preparing for those guys to leave and get drafted. So
They're
don't
reloaded
sleep on
over there.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Definitely.
their defensive line's ready to go again. So
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
fun.
Yeah, don't sleep on Wisconsin.
How nice it is to talk some college ball, guys.
Woo.
Up score update here. Whit 12, J 10. Whit pulls just barely ahead as we enter our third topic.
Boy.
By the way, it is the halfway mark. So if you guys aren't commenting below during these subtopics, let us know your thoughts below. Put it in the comments below, as well as make sure you subscribe, you like this video, hit the bell so you know when we're live. It's all greatly appreciated here, and we want to know what you're talking about too. We want to know what you're doing, what you think about these subjects. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow for more content at a Rec Room Sports.
Hey.
All right, let's get this thing going. Talked about the New York Jets, right? They've been the hot topic of conversation. There are Hard Knocks, everything else, right? Dalvin Cook just signed there. You got Rodgers and his posse just went over there as well, signed all over the New York Jets. Garrett Wilson looking to be a big cat there. The defense was really good last year. They are all competent, but a team that we're just not putting enough pressure on. In my case, just signed their quarterback for big money, Lamar Jackson, despite a couple injury riddled seasons. J.K. Dobbins finally activated off the pup list right before the second preseason game. Can he be healthy? Bateman unhealthy. Hasn't been healthy last year either. You signed Odell Beckham. The question marks are there. Does Baltimore Ravens have just as much pressure as the New York Jets? And I also want to know why, of course. So, Whit, we'll let you go.
All right. Let's just go ahead and throw it. We're just gonna throw objects at the wall and see what sticks here. Do the Baltimore Ravens have to feel as much pressure as the New York Jets do at this very moment? In my opinion, they kind of already have been. Let's just take a step back and say since 2018, when they picked Lamar in the first round at 32, and everybody was going, well, he's a running back, he's a wide receiver, what can he do? And his mom was like, no, my son is a quarterback. That's pressure. Let's go in 2019 when he won that MVP, the youngest MVP. When you think about the Jets right now, right? When Aaron Rodgers being a perennial MVP candidate and MVP winner, you know what I'm saying? You wanted to see Aaron Rodgers repeat some of what he's shown on multiple occasions in Green Bay and possibly get back to a second, third, fourth Super Bowl, right? So why not the same thing with Lamar Jackson? So yes, Lamar Jackson having won an MVP, you want to see him do again what he did in 2019. Then you go back to that season: 36 passing touchdowns, 7 on the ground, 3,000 passing yards, 113 passer rating. All of those things are high marks that show you that he is elevating his game beyond just being a runner. You know what I'm saying? And then even back then, he had nowhere the equivalent of the weaponry that he has now. Are we talking about a hodgepodge group of wide receivers who were possibly injured and coming from other places where they were devalued? Yes, we're talking about them. Yeah, we're talking about Odell, who could have been the Super Bowl MVP had he not torn his ACL in a non-contact injury. Sure, Rashad. Nelson Aguilar is someone that we looked at and said, "Wow, look at him come out and be not a number one, but a top tier wide receiver."
Mhm.
Mark Andrews has been a target for the whole. I don't know what you're going to do with Mark Andrews, but you're dang sure going to find him running down the middle of the field in the seams. We talked about Bateman. You got to think about that, and then Devin Duvernay. Sleep on Devin Duvernay if you want to. He's going to be out there somewhere, and he's not no slow leak. That is also somebody we got to worry about. Isaiah Likely, another weapon we got to worry about. And then let's not forget, this year they pretty much drafted Hollywood Brown 2.0 and Zay Flowers. But, it to me, I feel like the pressure is mounting on Lamar because when you get 185 million reasons to produce, okay? And remember, of course, everybody else, we waiting on like Joe Burrow and to get his money and stuff like that. But when Lamar's contract hit the market and it was done by him, no agent, like that is setting precedents that we've not seen before. So the pressure there's a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong, but I think that the casual realistic person in and around the organization goes, well, Aaron, you know what? We want to feel it out. We want to get in the playoffs. We would love to get to the Super Bowl, but we'll take a championship victory. But in Lamar's case, I think everybody's going, man, look, if you can't get them to the Super Bowl this time with this money, with these players at this rate, and then I didn't even write this down. I forgot. They pretty much go on, they're third in the NFL defensively, right?
Mhm.
Third in defense. And then they go sign Jadeveon Clowney. What? There's no reason for you to figure out a way to not get the other team's offense off the field, put Lamar back on the field, and throw the ball around like it's your backyard, what I'm saying, schoolyard football, like pick a receiver, just get out there and run. And then at the same time, don't forget Lamar's got legs. Now, is it dangerous? Yeah, it's dangerous. But football is dangerous all the time. So, in my opinion, right now, the Ravens have just as much, or if not more, pressure put on them as the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. And just not just because of the money, not just because of the money, but because of the position they put themselves in when they made these moves in the offseason. So, I'm going with that as my answer.
Jay, you're up, dude.
Y'all, I want to go into my movie reference and with just without looking at anything, without. Hopefully, I don't know if you know, but do you remember the last time the New York Jets won a Super Bowl? 69, dude. 1969, yo.
Nice.
1969. Yo, no. Yes. You can put 69 and the fact that when you have Aaron Rodgers, 2010, right? He went out there, he did the thing, right? You're talking about one Super Bowl. One Super Bowl. Now he has the weapons around him. He has a full repertoire of a team. Can't blame anybody right now. 69 as a franchise, man, it's a long time, man. And you also bring the weight of a quarterback who's in a win now situation. I call it the win now. I don't know, man. I got to find out the name because we can go with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, they put him on the Broncos. 50 touchdowns. Let's go. You know what I mean? They took Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? Put him on a complete team. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Is this the next? Shoot them up, fix it up. Let me throw a legend on a great team and see what happens. And is this that next team? If you look at those teams in the past, Denver had a great defense. They had Von Miller, but a defensive collectively, I think this might be a better defense. But all of this to say, the weapons that they put together for this one guy and the fact that they have not won anything, for a Super Bowl since, come on, with, how when were your parents born? Ask your parents, what I mean, when do they remember Broadway Joe? My mom does, you know what I mean? But she's 74 years old, bro. She's 74. You know what I mean? The Ravens, didn't we see them run the Super Bowl? How many Super Bowls did we see them win? We actually seen them win what, two Super Bowls? Well, yeah, two Super Bowls. I mean, it's on the Jets, man. The Jets, the way they put everything together, because you got to think about the Jets. What's next? If this doesn't work, what's next? The Ravens, same thing. You definitely could say the same thing. It's almost the end of the road when you look at how they're going to get it done. If they don't get it done now with Harbaugh, is it done for him? I applaud Harbaugh for his podium performance last night. Thank you. Go HTTC. But it he's a great coach, man. He's a great coach, but with everything they put together, final answer. Final answer. It's the Jets, man. 69. Definitely 69, man. It's to the franchise that has not won since God knows when, man. You know what I mean? It's there's always next year when it comes to the Ravens in a way, because they actually, you don't want to hear, oh man, you won two Super Bowls in the last some odd years. You don't really want to hear that as a competitor. But I mean, man, look at the Jets over here, man. Kareem, man. Shout out to Kareem, man. Look at him, man. Look I'm sorry. But look at how Kareem is as a fan, yo. Can you imagine? Can you imagine watching a game, bro, and you saying, I hope the stadium blows up? Because if I hope for something bad, then something good happen? Come on. Like, can you imagine being that type of fan, yo? Sorry, man, but the Jets they have so many psychological issues due to the fact that they witnessed so much, man, since 1969. Think about this. Since 1969, can you imagine these people showing up? JETS. And the craziest things have happened. Look at those teams, man. Look at those teams, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I'm to finish my answer, it's gonna be the Jets. Well, man, when you think about like the tragedies that they had happen with the Jets, man, like Dennis Bird and then just all the shortcomings, man, that came, competitively, man. Then when you look at small things like that the laughing stock, and it's the Jets, man. It's the Jets. I feel sorry for Kareem, man. You heard him, man. You've heard him talk, man. Like, yo, man, I'm not gonna watch the game because, man, they playing too good right now. Man, it's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. Like, can you imagine? You can't be that's terrible, man. That's terrible. It's the Jets, man. That's tough, man.
Here's the deal, right? So, do the Baltimore Ravens have just as much pressure as the New York Jets? No, they don't. By the way, no opinion's wrong. It's all opinion. So, but no, they don't have as much pressure as the New York Jets. And there's a couple of different reasons. So 2019, yes, I would say yes. Lamar has all the pressure in the world because he was the biggest name in the league at the time, right? Next to Mahomes and everything, he was the next competitor right there with Deshaun too. Well, now you're in the same division as Joe Burrow, who's expected to get back to the Super Bowl. You're in the same division as Deshaun Watson, who's looking to revitalize his career after being off. And now you got Pittsburgh in a way with the Pickett, right? And so now you're looking at Lamar as not having not the full focus from the media, not the full focus from the fans, from the NFL fans in general anymore, despite the contract, despite all the drama of this offseason. You go to New York, big media, big market, right? All the eyes are on there. They're on TV almost every day. right? And it doesn't matter if it's the Yankees, the Giants, the Mets, the Islanders. It don't matter because you're going to get the views. They're going to have the most watch people, and they're going to have the most eyes on them. And you go out and get Aaron Rodgers, who has nothing but drama in Green Bay the last 3 years, and now you're signing all these guys such as Dalvin Cook, and you're going all in. All the chips are in, right? And you know your time window isn't that much, and you're in a big market again, big market with all the eyes on there. The New York Jets single-handedly have the most pressure in the NFL right now. But next year we might be talking about the Ravens, because if the Ravens do succeed and let's say they go back out and finally, get back to first place in this division, that focus draws away from Burrow, draws away from Watson, and that focus is right back on Lamar Jackson for once again. So, but we'll have to see. Yes, stay healthy. The team has to stay healthy, and it goes from there. So, hey, that was a good one. That was a good one. So let's let me get the score updated here as we get ready to go to the bonus round. And boom. This is gonna be a good one. With 18J16 as we get there. Wait, are you sweating it out yet?
I got a head on because I sweat first. I'm always sweating, even sitting down.
It's the final bonus round, guys. This round is worth 5 points for the winner here. I get to choose which winner, of course, as it always is.
Oh man!
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but tomorrow, Ahsoka debuts for Star Wars. I'm stupid excited for it. I'm all caught with my Star Wars. I watched all the boring movies, as people call it, because they can't stay focused through it, fight through it, because it gets way better in all of those. Going to play. Look, I'm a huge Star Wars guy. I'm also a huge Marvel guy. I love myself Avengers. I got to catch back up a little bit more, but I'm excited for the new series coming out too. With all that going on with Marvel, I mean, they just keep dropping gold mines. It's insane. It's stupid. So I got to know from you guys, with everything going on, with all the new shows coming out, all the new movies, all the new announcements getting to play. What are you? Are you a Star Wars guy or are you a Marvel's guy or Marvel Avengers guy? Whit, since you have the lead, Jay's going to take this one first. So, Jay,
I know.
You're on the clock, baby.
Whit already knows where this is going, and he's grunting because it's like, damn, I already know how Jay feel. You know how I feel about Marvel, man. You know how, man, Mr. Lucas. I understand, you got a great thing going, man. Great story, man. I've watched the movies. I love them. I love everything about Star Wars, but man, the first thing I ever saw, man, I saw Spider-Man. I saw, a comic book for the first time, which has been around longer than Star Wars. I'm way longer than Star Wars. I'm sorry. It's the Avengers, man. When you talk about the possibilities, and I hope, they're talking about rebooting and all of these things, man, when it comes to the possibilities of the Dark Avengers, man, and the Sons of Darkness, man, and just so many things that could possibly pop off in this next phase, man, with Kang and the Secret Wars, and the fact that let's think here. Because, if anybody's a Marvel fan here, when you think about Secret Wars, you're thinking about all these Kangs. I'm sorry if somebody did, if I'm spoiling anything. If you think about all of these Kangs, it could take different teams to beat all of these Kangs, right? How do you have that, right? You got, they're talking about X-Men. You're talking about bringing in the Fantastic Four. You got the Daredevil series. They talking about this Daredevil series is gonna be like 18 episodes or something like that. A whole bunch of things are gonna be going on with that, right? So with the Marvels coming out with everything, and like I said, Secret Wars is big to me. Like the Dark Avengers. Anybody that is a Avengers or a Marvel fan, hey man, where's the White Vision? Anybody know what White Vision is? Anybody? You know what I'm saying? It's just so many possibilities and things that are gonna possibly be carried out. You know what I mean? You talking about vision. He was set up to be what? A blanket for the world. To maybe as
Yep.
soon as he got zapped, he was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I was supposed to be doing. You never know. Who knows? But all in all, man, when you think about all the possibilities going into Marvel, man, I love Star Wars. I love every time they bring something out creative because they're really, when you think about it, they stretching it. They're really stretching it because you would think this story was like this and the end. And it was, Star Wars found a way to say, hold up, wait, there's more. Let's show you this. Let's show you that. And they've made it work. And big kudos to Star Wars for making it happen, man. But when it comes to Marvel, man, and the Avengers and all the possibilities, man, we're gonna have kids. They're gonna be having kids, and their kids are gonna be in Marvel. Like this can go on forever, like it's been going on. So it's Marvel for me. Marvel.
Whit, you're up, dude.
Oh man. Okay.
And you don't have to
But
pick. By the way, you don't have to pick Star Wars, dude. If you want to do Avengers too, go for it.
I'm gonna give Jay the platform to talk about Marvel because I can't lie, I am a huge Marvel nut when it comes to certain things. Jay and I get down and we get on the phone. Did you see it? Did you watch it? Okay, I'm gonna get on the phone because you didn't watch it yet. Because I was about to, we do that all the time. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the Avengers was great. Yes, Endgame was off. Everybody knows what happened, what he said on your left. That was one of the best scenes ever. I cried when Black Panther died. Okay, Chadwick Boseman actually died. I shed tears because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I cried about a movie. You know what I'm saying? Several other things in the Marvel universe I'm really excited about. I can't wait till they make another Blade movie. Don't get it twisted. Blade saved Marvel. Okay, thank you, Wesley Snipes. You forever in our debt. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep it funky and let's take it to the
Ha,
other side
Wesley
real quick because Jay
Snipes.
covered a lot of
Bet.
ground with
I'm
the
sorry. I'm
let's cover
sorry.
a lot of yeah yeah he ain't paid them taxes, he ain't paid nobody now, but you know what I'm saying, Jay covered a lot of ground with the Marvel, but let's start it off like this. A long time ago in a galaxy far away, I don't care who you are, how old you are, if you like it or not, Star Wars is a polarizing thing. You are either completely in love with Star Wars or you completely hate it. But you see them words come on that screen every time, and you know that it's a Star Wars movie about to happen. It's a classic tale of good and evil. It started so long ago that we can't even point out that when it really started. It happened so many times that they had to show us 3 episodes before the 3 episodes that our parents seen because that was deep. And guess what? The man who hates himself is technically fighting his father. You know how many times you want to fight? You ever want to fight your dad? Okay. All right. That's a difficult task. But then you realize, man, he misguided. You know what I mean? He didn't do what I thought he was gonna do, so he did this. And then if I got burned by molten lava and my leg got cut off, I'd be pissed at the world too. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we got Darth Vader. But then when we get into the newer stuff right here, the second, third generation of people who get to watch Star Wars kind of from the second saga, when we get in Ray and we get into, what happened to Luke, and then let's also jump into what's really going on. We got a lot of people never wanted to know, man, how cool is Boba Fett? Where's Boba Fett? We got that. You want to know where the Mandalorians are? We got that. We got a baby Yoda. Come on, bro. Baby Yoda, spoiler alert, Baby Yoda saves the day. And he's like 250, but he's a baby. Who knew? So that means the real Yoda in the real series was like 1,000 years old, but nobody knew because he was tiny. Like and George, and the funny thing is, I watched a TikTok where Freddie Prinze Jr. basically explained that he met George Lucas before he died, and all it is good versus evil, and somewhere in there they're gonna even each other out. I don't know if y'all remember, but one of the coolest things I ever seen in a movie was a sword fight. I don't know if y'all remember this, but when Darth Maul took that hoodie off, shut the scene down. Okay, Darth Maul's appearance in the movies shut it down. Okay, I remember Kane. Okay, I remember that. I remember the gauntlet and the stones, but it wasn't nothing like two Jedi fighting Darth Maul and getting their behinds whipped. Okay, it's going to last forever. But once again, for me, there are so many moments in Marvel, and there are so many moments in Star Wars, and they are synonymous with pop culture, and they will live on forever. And I'm glad to have been able to start off as a youngin, and I'm talking about my dad would. I had one of those parents where I couldn't turn away from the TV for certain things. Star Trek was one of them. Knicks basketball games was another one, and Star Wars or Marvel cartoons or something was the last two. And I don't care. My dad was like, "Hey, you better sit down. I'm not turning this channel." So I'm glad I got a chance, a part to be involved in all of that. So big shouts out to Jay with the Marvel answer. I'm gonna go with the Star Wars side. I love both, but trust me, if you have not either done Star Wars or Marvel, you missing out, man. Definitely.
I I agree. I agree. You are missing out. That's for sure. By the way, you indicate like George Lucas is dead. He's not dead.
I mean, well, yeah, he's of
I know
course
you made it
he's
sound like
in
he was dead.
hiding. He's in hiding.
No, he's out there.
we
He's
can't find
doing his thing.
who's
He's the one who made Obi-Wan. So,
we
79
can't
years
find
old, by the
George
way.
Lucas.
79 and
We
still
can't find
killing
George
it.
Lucas.
His
Man, why'd
ideas
he
are
sell it?
endless. Look,
I mean, yeah,
this is
it's still happening, and it's really I think it's really
I,
dope that somewhere in there
I wouldn't have
this
sold
is
it.
somewhere in there he had
yeah.
all of this going. What Chewbacca's a freaking a freaking figment of my imagination, but it's one of the coolest characters up.
Mhm. This is the toughest one yet, guys, of the bonus rounds because I love both of them. I'm ecstatic. I love Iron Man. That's who my favorite Avenger is. But I also
He'll
love
be
the
back.
backstories of Black Widow. I love the backstories of Scarlet Witch. Right, get that underway. Um,
Oh,
it's just there's just so much with Avengers, but at the same time, Star Wars too. You got the Clone Wars, right? You got the animation, and then you got also the shorts that pop out where you get to see Count Dooku turn and how he turned as well, and kind of that lead up there, before and after Qui-Gon's death. It just,
uh,
I mean, there's just so many spin-offs that go into
but
play.
Tanner, just I'm gonna give you this feeling. Like I understand. You look at Star Wars, and yeah, you look at that side, and you like, yeah, that's great to see. Oh man, that's how it happened. Tell me how you felt when you
I was getting
watched the
there.
arc, watch the arc of Scarlet Witch. When you said Scarlet Witch, tell me how you felt when you seen those horns come up and you seen her really come into what she really because let's be real.
I got one.
No, I'm not going for it. But here's the seriously. You don't know how I
Mhm.
felt, man, because I was looking at it, like, man, they really didn't do any justice. When you look back and you seen Clint telling her to stop holding back her punches, he didn't know. He did not know. Lord knows he didn't know what Scarlet Witch, for them to bring all of that still after the whole Infinity Saga, everything, and then to show like she's been through heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, and to show how that actually just makes her really become the Scarlet Witch who you look at video games, you look at the comic books, you look anywhere, and they say she's the strongest. She's one of the strongest, and you like her. You play the video
Right.
game, and you like, like what did she do? Yeah, she knows magic, but yeah, when they showed that, come about, yeah, and her coming into what really the Scarlet Witch is described to be in the Marvel comics, man,
Yeah.
that hit, and the White Vision, who knows what we was gonna see out of that series with WandaVision, that we was gonna not only get full Scarlet Witch, and not necessarily full yet, but to get White Vision, and
Exactly.
possibly
The
we talking,
appearance there.
It's
So
All right, wait,
I
wait,
was
wait,
getting
wait,
there.
wait,
I
wait,
was
wait,
getting
wait.
there,
Before
Jay.
we run, before you run, before you run, I'm gonna take your Scarlet Witch. Okay, I'm gonna raise you Anakin Skywalker killing babies. Okay, all
no,
right.
no,
All right,
no,
we're gonna
no.
let's picture this. Let's picture this. Your uncle, who you thought was your best friend, is really the most evil character ever. I'm talking about Emperor Palpatine is sitting around there kicking it, watching it go down. He's pulling the strings on the background, and he's really the Dark Master, the Dark Side's leader. Nobody knew, and he's kicking it with everybody. And somewhere in there, he whispers in his ear, man, you know what? They tripping, man. The dark side ain't really that bad. You can get mad if you
But
want to. Why
we're
don't you
gonna
get
we're gonna
mad and slay this man in front of me right now? Kill him. Take his life. And then he takes his life. His eyes change color. He goes to where he was trained and he kills. They don't show it, but he kills babies. Okay? He wilds out, he kills a bunch of kids. Then he
see
goes
that
and tries to fight
that
his best friend and says, you didn't tell me that the dark side was going to make me this strong. Why didn't you tell me I should get mad? I'm this mad now, so now let me show you. And then he goes, man, hey, look, man, I tried to tell you. You can be mad all you want to, but I'm trying to save you. Don't jump off that rock at me. I got the high ground. I'm gonna chop your legs off. What he do?
with
Chop his legs
with
off, bro. Come
with I
on.
can get see that's the
Your
thing.
best friend. Your
I
best
got you. I
friend. Like
got you. I got you. But
you
with
you would
let's
have
just be
chosen
real.
you ever heard that line? You would have chosen one.
Okay,
You
okay. But you give a scene, and that's the thing. I can get my thing is I can always get a casual fan of Marvel and just show them one movie and one scene to stick out in their brain.
Mhm.
But you got to be a Star Wars fan to understand what you just said. You understand what I'm saying? But I got you.
You
I got you.
gotta,
I got you.
and you have to watch WandaVision to understand the two layers of which Scarlet Witch is not just is one of the most powerful mutants, and who
You're
the
right.
White Vision is. You got
But
and
that's
so
just to him.
it's a here and we are both on two tiers of the same level. I'm just wanted to kick something out there, but I can't lie.
So,
There's a
all right.
touching moment in life for me was those scenes.
There is emotion in both spots, right? And you talked about the
Yes,
killing babies. I wasn't that
No.
emotional, but my more
they
emotion
don't
has
show
now
it.
started to come. Okay. You see Saw Gerrera die, right? In Rogue One. Also in Rogue One, you see
Oh yeah.
Cassian Andor die. And if you stuck through Andor and actually got through some of the boring stuff that was, slow, like
Mhm.
you'll really feel the connection with Andor. Like there's a lot of emotion with a lot of these side series that are now connecting dots, right? We saw Saw Gerrera back in the Clone Wars animations on Disney, and that's where you first met Saw Gerrera when that all happened. There's tons of emotions there, but I will tell you this one thing here: there's no emotion like seeing Iron Man die. There's no emotion like seeing Vision torn apart in the freaking table. There's so many. It's
That
such a,
hurt.
and I don't know why. I don't know why it feels different, but there is a thing that feels different within Marvel Avengers and the emotion piece. Because like I want to watch Guardians Galaxy Part 3, but I have yet to watch it because I know bad stuff happens.
Woo. I'm
That's
Oh
glad I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
spoil
just
that. I'm glad I
yeah,
didn't
I
say
know you.
nothing. I'm so
yeah.
glad I didn't
No,
say
I
nothing.
just
Uh,
I'll
just
do
take
it.
your
I'll
time.
get there,
Just
but
take
it's
your
bad
time
stuff.
on that one.
And I
Take
haven't
your
actually
time.
watched. Look, I'm so far behind. Like after the last Avengers movie, where Iron Man dies, I have yet to catch up because I don't want to see what life is after Iron Man. Right? I don't want to see it.
Oh,
Captain America's gone. I've seen the
or
series here.
is
I've seen
he?
Hawkeye. He's gone.
Is
He's
he
old, but
gone?
he's gone. He's not coming back. They're not going to put him back in suit. But Iron Man, I heard might. But there's just so many different connections on all these. Star Wars is fabulous on the storytelling, really starting to connect the dots. They've really mastered it. But at the same time, Avengers tells the story in parts and in the right way from order. I'm going Avengers as my winner, and it hurts for me to say that, but like legit, it's both of these series. You plot me into TV outside of sports. This is legit what I watch. It's Star Wars and Avengers stuff. and that's you can't. I don't ask about any. I don't Better Call Saul, whatever else going into play. Haven't seen it, but I can tell you Star Wars. I can tell you about Andor. I can tell you about Hawkeye. I can tell you about everything else. Right? Like
The Force.
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you about those really cool shows everybody talks about because this is what interests me. So, Jay, you got the win. It is the final score here, and I mean, I just can't believe how close this one was because I really thought it would, give me some dumb stuff again, like he did with WNBA and relate it back that way.
Hey,
So,
man, the women.
I love
Women
it.
in
It gives you
basketball.
trouble. Just give me trouble, Wit. I like it. Jake, you had a minute. What you got?
All right, so here, hey, I want to say real quick, Sakari Richardson, it's on you. It's on you. It's on you. You got it right. It's on you. Make it happen. You just did what you did. Record breaking, 100 meter. Let's go. Let's go. Look back at this and say, I was right. Probably not the way you did before, but look at what happened to me, y'all. I made it. But after all that, look, man, Tanner, you gotta get on this. You didn't watch Secret Wars? Oh my God.
I'm not
But
there yet.
Guardians of the
It's coming. Full binge mode's
Guardians of
coming.
the
Guardians 3.
please watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I didn't think
Guardians 3.
as a Guardians fan and a fan of the soundtrack and a fan of the score, a big fan of how the score turns out, I didn't think they would amaze me from the first two to now. I didn't there's a favorite song that uh like I don't recall them ever playing hip hop or anything considered close to hip
Yeah.
hop, right?
Yeah.
So
Some
like
good stuff.
for for them to get
Yeah, I
a
know what
little
you're talking
bit, yeah, that like the final fight, so to say, which wasn't really the final
about.
fight.
I'm tired of running.
Hold on, yeah, hold on, yeah, and that was
Don't
it.
spoil
It
it
was
for me.
like,
Don't spoil it
and
for me.
you
Right.
hear it in the
I'm not gonna go
background,
lie
right?
to it.
No, we ain't gonna you hear it in the background, but you still just watching. You watching, and you're not really realizing that's gonna be the soundtrack for that next fight, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then boom, right? So that was a big one. But Guardians is big. How the whole group as a whole, the art and everything. How you got a whole, we can't. Yeah, this just the team period and how things and end begin in. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Marvel, man, I love it, man. I can't wait for the future and what happens. And last thing. Now, you said you saw. Did you see Falcon and Winter Soldier, Tanner? I don't want
Yes.
to do
Yes.
it on.
Yes.
Okay, so remember, lines don't come for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So for that guy who's gonna end up being the new Falcon, right? For that guy to say, I heard Captain America's on a spaceship somewhere. For him to go off the way he did, he had to put the stones back.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Oh,
was
that's
Red
true.
Skull? Where was Red Skull when he had to put the stone back? You know what I mean? Can you imagine him seeing Red Skull? Like, wait a minute. He said the red floating guy. It was like, yo, ask the red floating guy. He'll tell you. And it's like this funniest thing is Captain America. It went over his head, but
Yeah.
he was talking about the Red Skull. But I look at things like that all the time, man. And that guy saying, I heard 2 or 3 times across movies, you'll hear it or you see it, where somebody has mentioned, somebody said that Captain America's on a spaceship somewhere. You'll see. So that's
Yeah.
not the only time. That's not the only time you're gonna hear somebody say that. And I'm starting to think that something's up because they wouldn't have put that line in there and for other people to say things like that for nothing.
I'll
So
And
catch
I'm
up
gonna throw
this
this
weekend
in
then.
there. And I'm gonna throw this in there too, really quickly. And it's not necessarily, it's a part of the Marvel universe, but the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse series,
Mhm.
the second one. Yeah, if y'all ain't watched it, you need to. Not very, very, very well put together. Very well put together. And
Okay.
it's for not just for the kids, it's for the grown-ups. So shout out for them for the animation team behind that. That whole everybody knows that meme with Spider-Man is you. Yeah, it's very, very much in that vein. So shout, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody showing their nerd clothes right now, but I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't come at me. I love
We can
the
go on
show.
this for another whole hour. Like we got to be
Right,
careful,
definitely.
man. I tell you. Well, I'll catch up. I'm gonna plan on it this weekend. That's my plan. So not
You
doing
got
too
plenty
much
of
up
time,
there.
man.
So
Plenty of time.
guys, hey, that was a great show today. Fabulous comments, great opinions based off these topics here as well. It's what I like to hear. So I like to hear. I think we all kind of agreed in some kind of fashion there, and also had a very strong opinion. And I love that. I love having different opinions. That's all the point here. So everybody, make sure you guys please like, subscribe, put in the comments too what you guys think of these topics as well. What do you got? Star Wars or Avengers, or do you even care? So I like to hear from you as well. Guys, we'll be back next Tuesday. Almost week one. Almost week one. And
Almost
week
week
one, we do got a
one.
guest. We'll have a guest appearance in week one. The week of week one. So
Right.
be ready. Be ready. It's gonna be awesome. So everybody, like, subscribe, follow. Catch us next Tuesday. Have a fabulous week. And we'll see you guys next week. See you guys.
Right.